everybody. I'm Evie Roberts, and this is my podcast, Talking in the Dark. Welcome. The aim of this podcast is to raise awareness about blindness, visual impairment, and disability in general, in a happy and light-hearted way. For those of you that don't know, I am blind. I was born with a condition called bilateral anophthalmia. Try spelling that one. It basically means that when I was born, my eyes didn't develop properly, so I wear prosthetics instead. The goal of this podcast is to remove some of the stigma and stereotypes around disabilities, whilst also having fun at the same time. Each week, I will be interviewing people from all walks of life, including some with hidden or physical disabilities like mine, and getting to know a little bit more about them and the lives they lead. This week, I am very excited to tell you that I will be talking to the amazing actress of stage and screen, Amy Forrest. My name is Evie Roberts, and this is my podcast, Talking in the Dark. Welcome. Hi Amy, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, no worries. I'm excited. I was so happy to be asked.
Oh, like it's so amazing to meet you. I'm really, really excited to chat to you. What have you been up to today?
Today, I have been to Eastbourne Pier, and I've been on 2p machines in Eastbourne Pier, and I won a fairy jigsaw puzzle. And my wife won some slime from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So yeah, that's what I've been doing today. And it's been really sunny, really warm. So it's been quite nice.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Are you planning to complete that jigsaw puzzle at some point? Or is that one of those things that's kind of just going to chill there for about 10 years?
Probably going to chill there for 10 years. But it's already kind of put together. So you need to kind of like take it apart and then, yeah. I'll do it tonight, Evie. I'll do it tonight.
You should, honestly. But you're very lucky that it's been sunny today where you are, because here it has been freezing. I feel like a polar bear, but if the polar bear didn't have fur, it's genuinely freezing and I'm not happy.
Oh no, it's always warmer in the south. I don't get it. It's so like different weather. But yeah. You still have to wear coats though, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, I have been in school, so it's been all right. But like, I know full well, as soon as I walk out of school, I'm going to be like, oh my God.
Is it snowing where you are?
I wish it was, because if it was snowing, we get a day off school. But like, no, not really. It's just kind of windy and rainy. We had a couple of days where it was like icy, but then you just have to like defrost the car, and that's not fun. There's no, it's like the magic that you get when it snows. So no, it's just been cold.
Oh, well, it's going to warm up again soon, isn't it?
Yeah, thank God. Anyway, so to begin with, can you tell me a bit about your VI condition?
So I've got something called bilateral coloboma. And what that means is with my vision, I've got about 5% vision in my right eye and about 75 in my left eye. I can't see down and I can't see, well, really out of my right eye. It's a bit like patch vision, if anybody's heard of that, which basically means like parts of your vision are completely missing. I also have really cool pupils, so they're kind of shaped like cats, which is pretty cool. And what else? And also I need to wear sunglasses even when it's not sunny. So if it's a little bit cloudy, I still need to wear sunglasses because my pupils don't dilate. And seeing in the dark's pretty hard as well. Like, yeah, that's difficult. But yeah, that's it really. But I was born with it, so you know, I don't know any different. So
Yeah, you kind of just get used to it, don't you? Because like,
yeah.
I was born with my condition as well. And I don't know about you, but I can't think of what life would be like if I wasn't visually impaired.
Yeah, I think it would be scary.
Yeah.
If somebody went, right, here we go, there's a magic cure, and you're now gonna see like everybody
Oh
else, I'd be like,
God.
oh, my goodness me, what is this?
Yeah. Would you ever want to get your sight back? Because people always ask me this and I'm like, absolutely not.
No, I love having what I've got, and I think it's really super cool to have the different kind of pupils as well, which is quite cool. But yeah, no, I wouldn't. No.
Yeah, that is well cool to be fair. But yeah, and my thing is as well, right? Because I read Braille, right? Because I literally have no sight whatsoever. So my only way to read and write was through Braille. If I
Mhm.
were to get my sight back, I would have to relearn how to read and write. And to be brutally honest, I can't be bothered. Like that's effort, and that's an amount of effort that I don't have. So that's my main reason.
I like that. Yeah, that is so true. You'd have to relearn everything. So no, we're all right. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, we're good. Um, but anyway, even though we were speaking about how we can't think of a life without being visually impaired, how
Mhm.
would you say that being visually impaired kind of impacts your daily life?
Just like things like like for instance, walking to Eastbourne Pier. If it's really sunny, I can't see anything, so I need to grab onto my wife or somebody that's there. So that I suppose it impacts me in that way. What else does it do? That's really it. Like if there's children or bollards, no, children and bollards are not the same thing. But if they're below a certain level, I will
Yeah.
just walk into them. So that's kind of how it impacts my daily life. And that's it really. It doesn't really impact. Just like I might walk into the odd wall. I've had a few scrapes on my arm. But that's it really. It doesn't really do much. You kind of, I think when you're visually impaired, you're super aware. So you got like supersonic kind of like awareness of your space that you're in. So as long as you're in a super aware kind of thought, not thought, you know what I mean? Like if you're
Yeah.
super aware in that moment, you're fine. But if you accidentally you forget your awareness, and then I suppose you just walk into things or, have scrapes or
Yeah. I mean, walking into things like doors, it's all part of the process.
It
I'm
is.
pretty sure every single person who is visually impaired, I could be wrong here, but most people do it. And I walk into stuff more than I would like to admit.
It's
Like,
funny because someone who I know is also visually impaired was like saying that she blames her clumsiness on being visually impaired.
yes, I do that, and it works really well every time, so I just do it.
Same.
But honestly, the amount of times I walk into things, even in my own house, which is incredibly embarrassing. Like, I'll be in my own house, and that's the one time I won't be super aware because you think I didn't have to be. Apparently not, because I will just straight up walk into. I'll forget I shut my bedroom door. I'll go and do something. I'll get back upstairs and walk straight into the door, and then
Oh,
like, ah, it hurts like hell. And then there's the times I accidentally do it in school, right? I'll be walking down the corridor and I'll just walk into a door and it's the most embarrassing thing because there's usually people around. I'm like, don't mind me.
I'm just walking into a door.
Yeah.
No, the worst thing I did was it was actually last year. I very stupidly, we've got quite heavy doors on our flats, and I had my hand in the gap where the door closes. So the hinge bit, the other side.
Yeah.
And I had my hand in there. Don't know why, just couldn't see it. The door was closing, couldn't see that either or hear it at that time. It just closed on my finger and
Oh,
made a crush sound. Sorry for everyone who's listening. It made a crush sound. Did I go to the hospital? No. I thought, oh, I'll be all right. I mean, I've never seen a finger squash that small in my life, ever.
right.
I didn't know they could go that small. Anyway, it works. It's fine. It's fine now. But yeah, that was definitely a moment of yeah. And
Yeah.
that was silly because I knew the door was there. Just yeah. I don't know. Anyway, that
Yeah.
was a clumsy moment, I'm
I
afraid.
mean, how long did it take for your finger to go from like completely crushed to actually I can use this again?
Oh, how long did it take? A few days, but then eventually it went back to naught, and then I had a massive lump on it.
Oh God.
And people were like, and I couldn't feel it either. I lost feeling in it.
Why did you not go to hospital though?
Well, I went to a pharmacist because we're all told to go to pharmacists now, aren't we? So I went to a pharmacist and he went, "Oh no, you'll get the feeling back eventually." And actually, he was right. I did. And it is fine. But yeah, note to self and anyone who's listening, if you do that to your finger, just go to A&E. Don't do
Yeah.
what I did.
Yeah. I mean, at least it healed.
It did. I love how our whole conversation's been about my finger.
Not something I could have predicted, but also kind of love it. But yeah, I mean, you've talked about being sort of hyper aware
Mm.
because you're visually impaired. I don't know about you, but do you sometimes find that that means sometimes you can't really relax because you're always so aware of your surroundings?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I can relax, but I suppose if I'm in an environment where I'm on stage or something or on set, you can't relax because you've got to know exactly where everything is.
Yeah, yeah, that makes total sense. Because
Yeah.
I always find like at home I can relax and but
Mm.
things like school or big social situations where I have to be so aware of
Yeah.
where I am, what I'm doing. It's
Mm.
so tricky sometimes to relax and actually just like blend in and have fun because you're so aware, you're thinking about every little thing.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. Like if I'm walking through London or like, yeah, if I'm, in a new building or something, yeah, I get that. I'm the same. I have to be super aware and always and also you've got to tell people that you're visually impaired because sometimes they don't know. If I don't have my stick out, they don't know. And they just think I'm either somebody who's come into the building that shouldn't be there because I'm trying to find my way, or or like they're like I don't know they'll say things like, "Oh, it's over there" or something, and I have to kind of say, "Oh, I'm visually impaired. Where do you mean?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, no, you're right. It's difficult to relax in those situations, and also them knowing how visually impaired you are as well. So like, some people go 0 to 60, don't they? It's like if
Hmm.
I eat my stick, they like think I can't see anything at all, and they'll panic.
Yeah,
Panic
yeah, yeah.
out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the opposite because I can't see anything at all. And then I often get people like, "Well, can you see a little bit?" Which is a perfectly reasonable question to ask.
Mm.
But people usually like, how much can you see? I'm like, nothing.
So can you please show me where this place is
Yeah, I'm
and
like,
guide me to it rather than just pointing?
I physically can't see anything. So I'm gonna need you to just help me out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I find that in train stations as well. I don't know if you've ever found that, but I've had a few difficulties in train stations. Like you just need to look up there and you're like, I cannot see that.
Well,
And you,
yeah. I mean, luckily, because the only time I really encounter train stations is when I go to London for hospital trips,
yeah.
because the Isle of Man's tiny. But when I go to London for hospital trips, I don't like train stations much. But luckily, I have my mum with me, and she is a superhero. And she is so amazing at guiding me,
Yeah.
like, which is a task in itself, guiding me, being aware of where I am, somehow describing things to me, and then making sure we get places on time and like having all that. I don't know how she does it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Your mum sounds amazing.
She's such a legend, but I genuinely do not know how she does it at all.
No, that's brilliant. You need somebody who's organized. My wife's a bit like that. She's very organized. I love the fact that we'll go somewhere. I'm really bad with time, not with jobs and auditions, just to put that
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
I'm very punctual with work, but in real life, if we're going somewhere, Lucy arranges everything, and then the good thing is we'll always have time for a coffee. So
love
she'll
that.
always factor in time. It's like, we've got an hour, and I'll be like, brilliant. Whereas
Yeah,
I'd be like, let's get to that train and get there exactly at that point.
yeah, yeah. You need an organized person in your life.
You do, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, like you've kind of mentioned, I mean, you are an incredibly talented actress and you've played loads of different roles in both like TV and theatre. But I was wondering, like, what sparked your interest in acting?
So when I was a kid, I used to love the old black and white movies and like, like, and even the color movies, but they like, so people like Doris Day, I loved, like Calamity Jane. These are really old films. You're probably like, what?
I'll admit I've never heard of them, but go with it.
It's all like old time musicals.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Calamity Jane's like a cowboy kind of cowgirl character. And yeah. So I loved all that kind of stuff. And I thought, wow. And I used to love things like I Love Lucy, which you'll never have heard of either. Which is a comedy, a old black and white thing, very funny. And then that is how it initially sparked my interest. And then yeah, and then I just kind of like, as I got older, I was like, I really love like films and how they're made and things like that. And I love actresses like Samantha Morton. And when I saw a film called Girl Interrupted, again, this is a really, really old film. With Angelina Jolie and like I was, yeah, it was just kind of, so I guess the spark came from the old musicals is where it originally came from, because like that's what I originally wanted to do,
Right.
really.
Yeah. I mean, have you been acting like since you were a kid?
Yeah, I used to go to youth clubs, like youth drama groups and stuff like that. Like I used to go to the Brewery Arts Centre as a kid in Kendal. I used to go to that. I remember my first show there and standing on stage saying, "Look, the Indians are coming," or something like that, I said. And I remember the feeling of standing there and pointing and shouting. And so it was never kind of professional work from a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It was all like learning, and like I went to Stagecoach as a kid. Like when I was 13, I went there, and I just went to like various like drama groups. I went to yeah, that was it, just like various little drama groups growing up. When it was like, I remember going to one drama group, it was 50p.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty good.
And yeah, and it was really cool because we learned BSL there as well. We
Oh
learned how to
wow.
sing. Yeah, we sung "Stand By Me" in a show, and we sang it in BSL. And yeah, but yeah, it was 50p. So yeah, that were good. But it's funny because I always wanted to do it for a job, but I just didn't know how to. I didn't know how to get into it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess then, how did you end up getting into it as a career?
So I went to Kendal College and I did a BTEC in Performing Arts. And I actually didn't know it was a course you could do. I was very shocked. I was like, wow, acting, singing, and dancing, and you get like a qualification for that. And then I went to I did a year in musical theatre at Christine Holmes Academy. And then after that, everybody went off to do, went to Mount View and Artsed and all these different drama schools. And my dad said to me, give it 5 years. We can't afford, we can't afford to send you to any of them places. Just give it 5 years. And I just kind of, honestly, I gate crashed auditions is how I did.
Right.
I used to sneak in, or I'd like find out where they were, and I used to go. And that's how I got into it, by just doing it.
Right. Okay. That yeah, cool.
And I did do various courses as well. Evie, I should say that I did a short course at Artsed and then
Mhm.
in City and National Youth Music Theatre. So I did like little work, short courses and stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That sounds really cool. So, what kind of challenges would you say that you sometimes face as a visually impaired actor?
Um, Challenges, things like if you're doing stage work, it tends to be quite dark backstage. That's a massive challenge. So sometimes, like say when I was doing Small Island at the National, I'd always have somebody help walk me through call it the rat run. It's the back of the stage, so it's all like really pitch black pretty much, with a few lights. But for people who have full vision, they can, it's fine. But for me, it's not, and I needed somebody to guide me. So that is a challenge. Going down traps is a challenge, on stage you have these traps that go down, these trapdoor things that go down. They're a challenge. And then if you're filming outside, that's always a challenge when it's sunny. So quite nicely, when I did, say, for instance, when I recently did Sister Boniface, they gave me some really cool sunglasses of the time. And it was just an easy, the access on that set was excellent, as was with After the Flood that I've just finished, that's on telly at the moment on ITV. And they were brilliant with access as well. So it's just things like that really that have been a challenge. And also, if you do a rehearse reading on a stage, that's very difficult because the lighting is very dim, and I need like size 14 font. So yeah.
Right, yeah.
Things like that. But you overcome it, don't you? You know your obstacles, and you
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it always helps, I guess, if the people you're working with
Mhm.
are sort of able to and are willing to accommodate your access needs.
Yeah, exactly. And theatres like the National are incredible, and BBC and ITV, all these. It's really really good for access. Yeah, so the people you're working with, it's really important, and it's really important in any job. Anyone with a visual impairment needs to say on any job, these are my access requirements, because then it just makes life easier.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, do you ever, feel slightly anxious about telling people your access needs, or is it if you kind of just got used to it?
Sometimes I do, yes. Like if I'm in not so much a theatre job or a TV job, but like if I'm doing an in-between job, so like we do lots of in-between stuff as actors. And when I'm working for companies, I always think, oh, are they going to be like, she can't do this, she can't do that? When I'm thinking, yes, you can. But but yeah, there's moments when I'm talking to like not norm, like
Yeah.
company. I always feel a little bit, because it's not the acting world, it's different, it feels, and access is still kind of filtering down through different companies, isn't it? So yeah, I do get a bit anxious about it still. Still think we've got a bit of a way to go, but yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think there's still work that needs to be done, but I think we're better than, where we were some years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, you've played lots of different roles in your acting career, but what would you say has been your favorite role you've played?
I really enjoyed. Well, the last two telly roles I enjoyed. I loved Sister Boniface playing Silver Simmons, who wasn't she wasn't visually impaired as the character. And she was a stage mum, and she was horrible. And I loved it. I loved playing her. Yeah. So yeah, she was a lot of fun. And also in After the Flood, I love playing Emma. Because she in the show, she's blind. And I just think representation's so important. And what was really lovely about Emma is that she is, looking after her son. That live in all the house was like done up in a certain way, like it had very what's the word when it's like textile, not textile, but texture, good, all these textures around the house, which was really nice.
Mhm.
So it had this really textured kind of picture of it, like it was like furry picture, like in the hallway, and it had all the dots on the cupboards, so you knew which cupboard was for cups and plates and all that kind of thing. And it just showed people who don't tend to see people who are visually impaired or blind how your house might be set up, to make it accessible. So I loved playing Emma. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds amazing. Now, are there any roles that you would love to play?
I would absolutely love to play. I'd like to play a lead in a drama, like and as someone who's visually impaired as well, because I always feel like with people that are visually impaired, they're always vulnerable, and it'd be nice if they weren't. If
Yes.
I think what was great about After the Flood is she wasn't, she was living her lovely, she was living her life in her house, and and it'd be nice to have a bit of meat and be a bit of a meaty character but be visually impaired. That'd be really awesome.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I totally agree with you. Like every time, or most of the times anyway, you see a visually impaired character in like a TV series or whatever. They're very rarely the lead. And even if they are, like you say, they're vulnerable. They seem like they always need help with everything. And that is not the case in real life at all.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a real there's a real independency there when you're visually impaired or blind. It's a, and I think that needs to be seen on screen more.
I totally agree with you. Do you have a preference as to like stage or screen acting?
Do you know what? I don't think I do. I think they're so different. They're just different mediums, aren't they? And I think being on stage and live in front of an audience, especially like on the Olivier or some, at the National or a big theatre, it's just electric. Um,
Mhm.
and it's great because you're performing in front of everything that's happening is live and in front of that audience at that moment. And there's this collective consciousness that's just conscious, just going round, and we're all telling the story at that moment, at that time, and feeling those feelings. And I just love that, taking them on this journey. And that's great. But I also love being on a set and just playing something so raw and real, and your audience is the camera, and you're sharing it with the it's a different kind of feel to stage. But I love the kind of, it's a lot more what's the word, like it's not intense, it's a lot more raw, real. I love telly. I love both. I love
Yeah.
all of it. I just love acting, Evie. That's all I love telling stories and being different people and having voices, for the voiceless, people who, like, look what happened with Mr. Bates and the post office. That was incredible.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that being an actor would be such an amazing career. What would you say has been your proudest moment in your life so far?
My proudest, acting wise or life?
Anything you want.
Anything. Well, I married my gorgeous wife, which last year, which was amazing, in the Lake District, with everyone I love in one big house, and that was brilliant. Um, Acting wise, my proudest moment is when we're stepping out onto that stage at the National Theatre on the at the Olivier, that on the Olivier stage, and saying the first lines of Small Island was possibly, it was like magic, because that was the turning point in my career, really. As soon as I got that job at the National, everything changed.
Oh
Anyway.
my gosh. No, that sounds so, so cool. Now, looking forward to the future then, do you
Mhm.
have any like goals or aspirations that you would like to achieve?
Um My goals, aspirations, I would love to become one of the actors that's always called upon for jobs. No, I'd love to be, I'd love to get to a point where that you become like a profile, I guess, and you get to, you are thought of for roles in TV or in theatre. Yeah, to become a profile. That's what I'd love. Yeah, I'd like to be a profile actor, because I feel like that's when you've kind of hit your peak, which is quite nice. But I'm happy where I am. I'm very happy where I am. But the dream, that dream, I guess, would
Yeah.
be to do like dramas and, stage things, starring, Amy Forrest. That'd be lovely. So we'll keep going, see what happens. You never know, do you?
Exactly. No, I could totally see you being like a household name though. Like you're so cool, and I would not be shocked at all if in 10 years you were like a massive profile and a household name. Like I'm sure that will work out for you.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind. That would be the dream. Yeah. Just keep going. You just got to keep going. It's, perseverance, tenacity, opportunity meets preparation meets opportunity. It's all that, isn't it? And
Yeah.
being nice as well and just enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly. You've just got to kind of live in the moment, haven't you, and just enjoy things.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so important. It's so important to be present and enjoy your life and just, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Amy, you are so, so cool, so amazing, and it's been such a pleasure to get to chat to you.
Oh, Evie, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you. This is a brilliant podcast, and I've loved listening to all of them. So
Oh
you're
my gosh,
brilliant.
thank you. I did not know you'd listen to some of them. Thank you so much.
Of course I have. Yeah, they're brilliant.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind of you. And thank you to my audience for listening, and I will see you all next time.